Clans in your top 10, Phil?
I need to revisit it.
Why?
I'm pretty sure it is. Pretty sure.
If you had to give it a slot, not really thinking about your other games, what would you put this at? Like 5?
Like number 5?
Yeah. Number 5? Or is it number 1? Root was last year's number 1. Is this year's number 1?
No, it's not. That I know for sure. It's more of a comfort game for me. It's not. Yeah. It's not something that screams number 1 because it's not a particularly exciting or particularly groundbreaking or original game.
Right.
But it's just a solid game. Solid game that gives us a pleasant enough of experience for me and my wife. And it's a game that we can go into it with very little pressure because it's low on time, gameplay time, and while just giving us a still, it really stretches our brain. So it's a comfort game, and for me, that kind of game I would place it closer to like a 6.
So this is number 6 in your top 10?
6. I can see that.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's your number 1 right now? Is it still Root?
It's hard to say. I say that about anything, but I think I would possibly give it to. Man, I'm actually not sure. There are 3 games I think compete for that spot, and they're all very different.
What are their names?
Root, PAX Premier, 2nd edition, and Clank Legacy.
Ooh.
I'm pretty sure those are going to be competing for number 1.
Okay.
Yeah.
Number 6 in the top 10. That feels like a pretty high ranking for this game.
Mostly because I still haven't played that many games. I played maybe 50 games or so.
Yeah, number 6 in 50 is still pretty high.
It really depends on what type of category it is, though.
This is where top 10s really break down.
Yeah. Because it's hard because games fill different categories.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, off the top of my head, even games like Camel Up, I consider it highly. Even though some people hate it or think it's way too lucky. I mean, it is way too lucky. But I like it and I consider it highly because of the enjoyment that I get out of it with my family.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because it naturally leads to very fun times. Everyone's like smiling, everyone's laughing.
But look at me in the eyes right here.
Okay. Yeah. And that alone bumps it highly because really more than anything, games that give me that fun time with family, people that I care about, if a game can manage to achieve that, components and how complex the game is, how deep it is, things like that tend to go away. So.
Yeah, I guess I could play a game I would say is number 20 in my top whatever list.
Yeah.
But it'd be the number 1 game I'd pick for that night because of the mood or whatever.
Yeah.
Or the amount of time I have to play it.
Like I said, Camel Up, I love that game. Just because of the type of game it is, I wouldn't place it in my top 5. But,
So is Camel Up number 7? What number is Camel Up?
This is tough. I need to think about it.
Where would you put Brass?
The more I play good games, the tougher this gets. And that's a really good game.
Your top 10 is going to have like a 5.5, a 5.6, 5. It's going to be 100 games in your top 10.
Exactly. And that's the thing. Brass, I like it. It's just slightly under in an awkward spot because of the gameplay length.
Mm-hmm.
It's 2.5 hours, which is usually. And my guess is that when my wife and I play, it'll probably be closer to 2.5 to 3 hours, and that's really stretching it for us.
If a game is going to take 3 hours. Brass should be that game.
You really like that game.
I do.
Yeah.
It's a great game.
I agree.
I was gonna try and say something that's very thoughtful, but all I could say is it's great.
Yeah. That's how I feel most of the time when I'm on video. When I'm writing, it's easy.
Oh, that is a tight fit.
Yes. And typically, I put this in first, I think. It's really tight. They really need to make this box bigger. That goes in there. Why is this lifting? I don't know. If I break it, I'm going to be pretty sad because it costs like $30.
Yeah.
Okay, your turn. What's your top 5?
Top 5, if I'm thinking off the top of my head, I would say Brass is in there now. Brass Birmingham.
Okay.
Viticulture is still in there. I got Wingspan on the top 5.
Wingspan, really?
Yeah, Wingspan.
Okay.
Quacks and Quedlinburg. It might be Fort.
Fort, really? Man, you like it so much more than I do.
I think it's because I like deck builders. And the more I think about it, the more of a deck builder it really is. In terms of like the way I feel satisfied in playing it, it feels like it gives me a similar enjoyment and type of gameplay enjoyment as Dominion and Ascension, but in a much more approachable theme than those two. Which I think puts it above Dominion Ascension, even though I think I'd almost prefer to play those back to back to back to back.
Okay. All I know is that it's probably outside of my top 10.
I could play that game right now. I could play that game 3 times right now. You want to play it? Do you want to play it?
Right now?
Right now.
Right. No.
Oh wait, we gotta unbox that. Don't do that.
Let me see where it is. List owned. Gloomhaven, Pendulum, Brass, Lands of Lydia. Well,
Do you put that above Fort, Lands of Lydia?
the higher count it goes to, I would give the edge to Fort.
Okay, so you have a good idea of your top 5 now?
I know this just became a video about my own list, huh?
This is a whole new video. We're not doing a review of clans anymore. Gloomhaven,
Clank
Brass.
Legacy, Pax Pamir, Root.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't played enough of it to know.
Yeah. But you know. You know.
I know that it'll be top 7. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
You
So
know,
that means it's either 7 or 4 or 5.
Concordia and Clans, I actually do. Yeah. Definitely, it's within like top 6, both of them. So
Yeah. Okay.
it's like the question of like, what's the other game?
Mm-hmm.
So
Probably Pendulum, right?
no.
So you asked top 5. Got Flick 'em Up. Got some of the Exit series. Got My Wife Calling.
Yes. You have to zoom in on the phone.
Yeah, so we got Call to Adventure, no. Quacks with the expansion. I think my top 5 would consist of Brass, Fort, Viticulture, Wingspan, and Quacks. Fort is now in the top 5.
Can you repeat that?
Brass, Fort, Wingspan, Viticulture, and Welcome to. Did I say Quacks? Quacks? Yeah. I really want to get... There was a game I reviewed called The Cabinet, Whatnot Cabinet. That one seems good. That one seems like it could be top 10, definitely top 10 of 2020. Jaws of Lion, Lions of Lydia, Whatnot Cabinet, Fort. I think Fort, Jaws, Whatnot, Lions, 3rd, 4th. I don't know.
Right when I zoomed out.
Good timing, Phil.